All right, hey, what's up, guys? Coach Mac, Play Fast Football. Today we're going to take a look at isolation RPOs and then turning those into play action passes. Make sure you check out some of our partners, Dome Hats, which is the headwear company that we use at Play Fast Football in the current high school that I'm at. They have an awesome custom online hat builder that you can use and generate and design your own hat with your own logo. Change the style of the hat, change it from Velcro to snapback to fitted, change the build, change the colors, change the buttons, the eyelets, the stitching, everything you want you can customize. So make sure you check out Dome Hats. Baker Sporting Goods, which provides our spirit packs for our players, our under uniform gear, our off-season gear. Our uniforms are provided by them or distributed by them. My coach's gear, like shirts like this, are distributed and we get them through Baker Sporting Goods. They also do anytime we have any online team stores for our players or our fans, we use Baker Sporting Goods. Make sure you check them out. Just Play Football. It's a more powerful way to present your material to your players, your playbook, your game plans. I use it. I think it's the best play drawing tool that's out there on the market. So anytime I'm going to speak at clinics or webinars, I use Just Play Football. So make sure you check them out. Game Strat sideline replay system that we use here at the school I'm currently at. If you're looking for a highly reliable, highly affordable sideline replay system, make sure you check out Game Strat. DifferenceUSA, the ultimate striking machine. We have one in our weight room that we use in the off season. Work on striking without needing a partner. Elbows in, thumbs up, eyes where they need to be, coming out of your stance with your hips and exploding. And so make sure you check out DifferenceUSA. HighandTight is a ball security training aid that we use. It's got the panels have sensors in them so that when you hold a football, you have to hold it properly for the sensors to be activated when you have the proper points of pressure with the ball in the right spot. The sensors are activated. You hear a beep. When you hear that beep, you get that auditory response that lets you know that's where the football should be. Anytime you don't hear the beep, you're holding the ball wrong, so you get that instant muscle memory auditory feedback to know, yes, that's where it belongs, no, that's wrong. So it helps kids understand the proper way to carry the football, so check out HighandTight. All right, so I'm going to take a look at today isolation RPOs. What I mean by that is running an ISO theory, an old school ISO theory, regardless of what your rules are up front, using an old school isolation theory to run an RPO, a run pass option, and then how you take that same theory and turn it into a play action pass. So when you're talking isolation, however you want to look at it, whether it's a zone insert or if it's off of whatever scheme you want to take it off of, most times nowadays in football, if teams are inside zone teams, their isolation plays become zone insert type plays, right? So anytime you have an isolation play, what you're going to have is you're going to have one side of your line working a combination to an inside backer. The other side of your line is going to be blocking a man scheme, and then you're going to have your Y-off sniffer, whoever that player is, inserting on the other inside linebacker, and that's how you're going to get the 6 players in the box blocked. Okay, so it's an isolation, an old school isolation theory where it's a fullback on a linebacker, and it's 6-on-6 in the box. So when you're using an isolation theory like this, if you're doing it to the 2 receiver side, all right, now you've got the RPOs where you can take a look at that overhang that's extra that you can't block. And now if you want to, you can run the glance route, all right, with the fin route behind it. Okay, you can go ahead and run any type of stick concept. So you can go stick here, all right, vert outside there. If your number 1 is a guy that you really want to get the ball, you could possibly run snag concepts to where you could take number 1 and bring him in here to replace and run whatever you want. All right, on the outside with number 2. The bottom line is you are throwing RPOs off of that apex defender, the 7th guy that you can't account for if he's inside leverage of 2 and you can't dig him out. So now you're reading him post-snap and throwing the ball down the field off of that player. You could still throw screens if you wanted to off of that. You could do whatever you want. The bottom line is it's off of an isolation theory. If you were running the isolation play the other way, versus 8-man front stuff, all right, this is how a lot of people are getting to the single side now. All right, what could be known as 3rd level RPOs, because a lot of times this guy might line up high, spin down. But now that's where you're going to see your glance route. You're going to see your speed out. All right, things of that nature to that single receiver side. Now, if you were to put, all right, most of the time now it would be the other way. So you might have it to where your offensive line is working the combination this way. And now it's a man scheme there with an insert there. And now the tailback is on this side, and now you're running your glance and your speed out. So you're running the RPO theory off of the 7th man in the box, which to that play side is that weak safety. He's the guy that you can't account for. He's the guy that is unblocked in that scenario, so you're throwing the ball off the unblocked player. Nothing new, nothing revolutionary. It's very simple. You'd be surprised how many college teams are actually now using these isolation theories to run their RPOs. Now, one of the reasons I think you're also starting to see this as an RPO theory a little bit more is because the one thing that has a tendency to start to give RPOs a little bit of trouble on paper. I think the first thing we have to do is define exactly what the run-pass option is. And normally, in general, the run-pass option is putting conflict on a player that has some type of run fit potential and pass drop potential, and then taking advantage of where he would be in the pass drop and throwing the football where he is not. Okay? So when you are putting a player in conflict, so if we're running it to this side and we're trying to put this star nickel in conflict because we think he's a fold-in player in the run game. All right, now if you got the 3 and the 5 to that side versus a 2-back set, he's probably going to be a little bit later. Maybe the ball, if they can bounce it to him with the mic on isolation theories, they're going to try and get the ball sent out to him. Maybe they're going to cancel gaps to get the ball sent out to him. But the bottom line is he's down there to be, whether it's a fast fitter or a slower fitter, he's down there to be involved in the run game. He's down there to help in the run game. But he also, in this system right now, in a pattern match or a zone theory, he also has a pass drop responsibility. So that's the guy we want to conflict. Well, one of the things that you're starting to see to take the RPOs away is more, whether they're robber concepts, all right, whatever the concept may be, you're starting to see more man concepts, whether it's man-free, one rat with a low hole and a high hole player. You're starting to see more man concepts because what man concepts do, okay, is man concepts eliminate the conflict. So if we're playing these 2 receivers man-to-man out here with guys that have no responsibility in the run, and we're playing the run with the 8 guys that are in the box, all right, or an 8-man front, 6 guys in the box, 8-man front, however, whatever your vernacular is. If we now tell this guy he has no pass drop responsibility, all right, hook to curl or anything there, and his only responsibilities are all in the backfield, okay, now when you go to throw the RPO and read him, if he folds into the box and you go to throw the ball, you're throwing into man coverage, right? So you're throwing the ball into man coverage, which is good because if you can dictate more man coverage because of your RPOs, that's how you can build your game plan to attack, because as an offense, if you're dictating the coverage because of what you do, you're already winning half the battle. If I can get them in what I want them to be in, just because of what I run, formations or plays or schemes, I'm already winning half the battle. So now how do you take that to the next level? Well, the RPOs, as far as throwing off that conflict player, aren't really as good anymore because he doesn't have conflict. So what you can do is you take the same theory and you make it a play-action pass. So now, if you take the same theory and you make it an isolation theory, but you block it as a play-action pass, and this is where, all right, a lot of the announcers get crazy when everything looks like an RPO. You can usually tell by the pad level and the demeanor of the offensive lineman what's an RPO and what's a play-action pass. So if you've been watching, coaching, or analyzing football long enough, you go back and you look at certain things. The way you'll tell RPOs to play-action passes is usually, all right, demeanor, pad level, where those linemen are, the aggressiveness in their set versus their run blocks, all right, or the difference between the aggressiveness of a run block and a set in a slide. So a double team on a 1, what you've got to look at is half slide pass protection is essentially the same as the isolation play. The difference is the technique and the demeanor. So if we have slid this protection, the center and the guard will still have the nose to the wheel on the zone side. We're still going to create a zone side. The difference is, instead of coming off on a hard double team, now the center may set the A-gap to that side. So when you're watching things like that, the scheme is exactly the same. It's the demeanor and the technique the O-line are using. So now they're going to slide it the same way. We're going to insert the fullback the same way for the mic on a blitz, and now we're going to choose, depending on the front or the press. Now we're going to put our tailback either on a front side backer, all right, or possibly a scan, all right, to go all the way back door. All right, so he may go coast to coast where he's front side backer to backside backer, because really the only two guys, or the only two other guys we have to account for are those two extra guys, because we're not reading them, right? So if they're blitzers now, we've got to be able to figure out a way to account for them. So now you've got your same scheme. Your insert player can insert, and if he doesn't get a blitz, he can now add himself into the route, right? So it's like a play-action-pass theory, because that's what we're talking about. But what makes it so good now? Now versus the man stuff, or now off of our normal RPO stuff, we can start to get into deeper shots, double moves. So now, if we've been running the glance by 2, now we can make the glance sluggo, right? Because we don't have to worry about linemen being downfield. We don't have to worry about holding on to the ball longer because we're play action passing. So now we can work the double moves to where we can now go glance to sluggo, right? Now we can work the man combinations if we get these guys out here to where now we can go, all right, inside or some type of snag route to the rub to the wheel route. Now we can work all the things that we want versus man and throw the ball down the field. Maybe we can bring these two guys on the double post, which looks like the RPO glance, and then we try and climb the X from the backside all the way across. Okay? We can do all those things now because the RPOs that we're running look very similar to the play-action passes. The protection is the exact same. The demeanor and the technique changes, but the assignments are the same. It's just what you're doing with the tailback on the 7th to 8th defender, how you're going to pick up 4 weak, things of that nature. But now in doing that, off the same scheme, we can throw the ball down the field. We can come up with man beaters if we think we're getting man beaters. If you were going back to the single side, okay, now you can get the double moves to where you can go again with the sluggo, okay? You can go back to this side and you can go with the out and up if that's one of your RPOs. You can go, you know, possibly stutter, come back, and go to that side. Because you're making the same scheme, or you're taking the same scheme that you use in your RPOs, you're turning it into your play action passes. Your protection is sound. It's half slide pass protection with a fullback on a backer and a tailback on 1 or 2 backers. All right? If you do it well enough and you have enough time, you can get the guys that are assigned to backers in a route. So off of these, you can have checkdowns. You still might be able to get 5 out in a route off the play action pass. So what you're doing is you're learning how to protect your schemes, and you're learning how to protect your plays with other plays. So you take your isolation theory, which is a very good inside run theory, whether it's off zone insert or we do it off of our veer scheme or our duo scheme, and we lock the front side and we insert. However you're doing it off of that scheme. You got big on big up front, you got backs on backers, and now when you RPO it, and you're taking advantage of conflicted players, and you're attacking space on the field and making a guy that's a run fitter, but he's also a pass dropper, you're putting that conflict on him, and then you're forcing the teams maybe to play a little bit more man or man free than they want to. You're forcing them to make adjustments in coverage because of your RPO schemes, and then when they make the adjustment in coverage to your RPOs, now you're using the same blocking scheme in a pass set demeanor to throw the ball down the field with double moves. Okay, so if you run any insert RPOs, if you run insert at zone insert, if you run insert as an isolation theory, you'll see a lot of dart schemes doing this where the dart play is in isolation theory. It's just a tackle is the guy isolating the linebacker. So you'll see back in the day, you used to see Baylor do it a lot. You'll see teams that run the dart RPOs, and it's the same thing because it's an isolation theory. All right, but now when you're using the fullback as the isolation guy, and you're turning your line back to a linebacker, you essentially are already building in half slide protection. You already have the rules for half slide protection, so now when you turn that RPO into a play action pass, you've already got the protection set. You just have to explain the technique to the players and the difference in the two, and then you need to talk to your quarterback and your receiver. Why can we throw the ball further down the field now? Because our linemen aren't downfield. We're fully protected now. We don't have to worry about getting the ball out. We should be good against everything. We can throw our double moves. We can throw our deep shots. We can throw our rubs and picks first man. We can do all the things we want to do to beat man just by building, all right, play action passes off the RPO. So if you look at a lot of college football, it's out there. All you got to do is go and watch the film if you had it. All right, I watched a couple. Been watching, obviously, the Alabama game, which we talked about already, but I went back and have some film on it, so now I go back and look, and it's amazing to me how many isolation theories they actually ran this year, how often they used the isolation play in the run game, in the RPO, and then how they turned it into play action passes. So it's actually not that hard to do. The rules are already built in. It's how you would block half slide anyways. what you do with the backs in protection, what you do with the tailback, if he's a coast-to-coast, front side to backside guy, if he's an alert guy because the backside is showing 4 weak, whatever you need to do to take care of that, it's not much different than drop back passing, except you probably don't have as many built-in hots. You're trying to block the whole thing, leave 7 in and get 3 down the field to take advantage and throw the ball down the field for big plays. Okay, so I hope this video helps you guys. Again, I don't think it's a revolutionary concept. I think isolation football has been around for a long time. You just have to look at the rules of an isolation play and realize that they're actually the same as a half slide pass protection. So, it's just a matter of piecing some things together with similar rules and building on it from there, taking your RPOs into play action passes so that you can now account for man teams and some other things that they're trying to change up because of your RPO schemes. So I appreciate everything you guys do for Play Fast Football. Make sure you click that subscribe button. Make sure you turn notifications on so you know when we do these videos and when we do anything live. Make sure you leave thumbs up, thumbs down if you like it or don't like it. Either way, your interaction is always good to let us know what you like and what you don't like. Leave a comment, as many comments as I can see. I will respond to if they come through on my end. If you got an idea for a video, leave it in the comment section. If I feel like I can do the video justice, I'll go ahead and do the video. All right? So thanks for everything you guys do for Play Fast Football. Stay safe out there. And remember, you won't play well until you play fast. I'll see you next time.